Hi, my name's Irrelevant, and when I dug this old beast out of storage, I didn't expect to be working on it this much, but once again, for a third time, the Compag Deskpro 2000. So as the story goes, I took apart a dual Pentium Pro system to build a Pentium Pro system. And then I took apart a Pentium Pro system to build an Athlon 500 system. You should have seen those videos by now. You've seen those videos, right? Now that that's done, I have this hardware from that era that's not doing anything. Specifically, something like the Voodoo 2, all sorts of RAM, and a nice Quantum Fireball 10 gigabyte that has actually tests to be one of the fastest old IDE drives I have. It even tests faster than an identical 40 gig model that I have. So, 10 gigs is gonna be a nice size for something like this if we can get it to support it. Support's tricky. I got a 128 megabyte stick here. Fortunately, it's compact labeled because I'm not sure that this system will support more than that. I tried to actually put more RAM in it at one point and it only detected 128. So we'll see what happens once we get things going. This would make, once again, another good possible Windows 98 build, specifically to play games of the era. So where did we last leave off? Now I did at some point put a DVD ROM in here, or a DVD burner, not because I want to burn DVDs, but because it's a newer and going to be a more reliable disk drive than the one that was in there. The other one was glitching out a little bit. Inside I put my Diamond Stealth S220, a SCSI card for legacy support, and that same ESS audio drive sound card that it came with is still in there. 64 megabytes of RAM, there's a 3 gigabyte Western Digital in here, and a cooler that is too darn loud. That's one of the first things I want to address. To get into this thing, we need to take the front panel off, and then release the drive bays. And these poppers slide out like this. We'll just go ahead and disconnect on these. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this cooler. You should be able to see it, but can you hear it? I'm sure you can. This microphone picks up everything. It's a good cooler, but it's a little bit loud. It would be audibly annoying inside of the system. Back in these days, sound wasn't the biggest issue when you were going for performance, so having an aggressive cooler was more palatable at the time. Especially when you were younger and your ears just didn't care. Now, I don't know that this system actually needs that much cooling because it's not like I'm going to be overclocking or overvolting it. This board doesn't have the ability to do anything like that anyway. I did find this in storage. It's Cooler Master labeled, but I don't think it's actually a Cooler Master. It might be the box that other cooler came in. Look at this guy. Birch Tech might just be the fan. This could be an early Cooler Master. As I recall, this is one of the first upgrade coolers I ever purchased for my Pentium 100. And it's interesting because it has a temperature sensor alarm on it. This thing's stuck to the heatsink and there's like a circuit here. And you see this thing, this was a pass-through jumper for your PC speaker. You would plug this into your motherboard and then plug your PC speaker onto the other side. That way the alarm would work. I don't know how to test this alarm. I guess I'd have to heat it up, but it's such a simple circuit. I guess we can assume it still works. Assume. I'm gonna put this in there instead because it is actually much quieter. Can you hear it? Let me put it close to the microphone. Yeah, a lot more palatable, and it should be enough cooling for this. We won't know till we start ripping some games, right? Let's go ahead and get some schmoo on there. How do I want to orient this thing? Well, I'm not going to need this extension because this doesn't have the conventional PC speaker. Mush her down right good, bud, right good. Let's get those hooks on. All right, this is going to send this way over to where all the power connections are. And then this doesn't have a conventional PC speaker, so we're going to add one just for this alarm. Just make it come around here. We'll fish it under these wires. And then I think I'll pop this fan holder out. I'll just pop the speaker in that little crevice and snap her back into place. That should hold fast for us. All right, drive cables. There's so little hardware in this thing, pretty much each device gets to have its own cable. So, the hard drive. Oh, there's not a specialty screw there. And that just slides out. But Compag does have its specialty screws everywhere else. But hey, I got an app for that, right? There you go. That's what a Western Digital looked like back in the 90s. It's funny, all the color codes they have. I guess this was the pink drive. December 99, this says. Let's get these on the Quantum. This doesn't have anything that I recognize as a date code. Made in Singapore, 2003? No. Oh well, get her schlepped in there. Oh, don't schlep her too hard. It's been rumored that these computers might have an 8 gig limit, so I'm hoping this won't be a problem. Go ahead and get the drive screwed back in. All right, that means we can put the front cover back on now. All right, so up in the hardware down here, the SCSI card. I don't know if we're gonna need that anymore. I gotta go ahead and take the SCSI card out. We'll probably put something else there, like maybe a USB 2.0 controller. I got one more. If it gets along with this system, I want to get 98 going on it first, however. So, the Voodoo 2. Well, it's going to have to go in here with this video card, unless, can I Jolly Jumper it? Actually, yeah, it probably would work nice if I put it up in here. And then at least the Voodoo's thermally isolated from the other card. A little bit more room to breathe. And if it gets hot, I can add the fan here. I know this is a good working port anyway. All right, we'll go ahead and get the link in place. Oh, might have a bit of a conflict of the cable because the way the cards are flipped, this might not want to go in this direction. You gotta watch out sometimes with old cables. If you start stressing them out, that's when they break. If you keep using them in the same positions that they're kind of formed to, they could last forever. Okay, seems legit. Pretty sure we're ready to fire on this guy now. Oh, wait. We still got to do the RAM upgrade. 128 gigs. Gigs. 128 megs of compact label RAM. I have tested this, so I know the system likes it just fine. And if you remember, I have my battery mod in here, still running 2 AA's. All right, so here we are at the test bench, and I'm about to turn this thing on. Let's see. Yes, it sounds nicer. It's quieter. The CD drive's blinking weird. Well, it's probably because there's a disc in it. All right, so while you weren't paying attention, it'll probably show up in another video. I gotta go ahead and put the diagnostic F10 partition on this system. Now, we move on, finally, to the feature presentation, for we will now attempt to install a fresh copy of Windows 98. Will this boot from CD, though? Oof, that might be a problem. No, there it goes. Boot from CD-ROM. Start Windows setup from CD-ROM. I'm sure you've seen other videos of people installing Windows 98 before. I'm gonna, for the most part, skip this once I know it's working. To continue with setup, press enter, configure unallocated disks. Yes, enable large disk support. We're gonna go with one big partition. Formatting. Looks like she's gotta go, boys. We'll be right back. And we're in. Which also means screen capture is gonna work now. And I heard that the audio's working. First thing we need to do is get all this useless crap that we do not need off of our desktop. What is in online services? There's going to be nothing in online services because I don't have online services. I did not install online services. Yes, and then we want to empty the recycle bin too. Sure, quite sure I want to do that. But yeah, let's go check right quickly what Device Manager has to say so we find out what drivers we're gonna need to go source out. Check system, 128 megs of RAM. So now I'll be able to try to see if it'll support, I updated the BIOS, maybe it will take more RAM now, yeah. S3 Trio, we're not gonna be using that. We might as well disable it, or maybe we can get dual VGA output on this thing. Internet connections sharing. Okay, that's weird thing that I didn't need. Make it go away. Later. That's gonna be the Voodoo 2. That's gonna be the S220. Oh, yes. This computer does have a USB ports on it, and Windows 98 supports USB ports. Maybe that means it's gonna work now. Sound. Okay. Our sound card's already in there, so we don't have to worry about drivers for that. So here's what I wanna do now. I want to take this surplus USB 2 card that I have, shoehorn it in there, and see if we get USB 2.0 support, because I do have 98 drivers for this thing. But that's going to involve us having to shut this thing down. So let's shut her down. Once we get that working, then we can go ahead and start hammering drivers into this thing. Where's my screwdriver? That's a nice place for it too. It's gonna be right at the top front. Easy to reach. Honestly, I don't even know if this USB 2 card works. It didn't work in the other system. Maybe it worked fine before I chucked it across the room, right? Oh, it found the controller, except I do not yet have the driver installed for it. Does it even need a driver? Oh, I think it's oh, no, USB root hub. Okay, so the question is now if I pop in little dongle daily, what's gonna happen? Mass storage device found. Okay, this is the reason why we need to update the drivers, which I have on a floppy disk. And in order to do that, they say to go into Device Manager, crash the system. Nice. Windows 98, you're so much fun. Hanging. Okay, so where were we? They tell you to remove all the existing USB drivers. I'm gonna leave the VIA drivers in place and then run the updated driver software. And it should enable all the features, including mass storage and USB 36E. It's convenient that it's small enough to fit on a floppy. Except floppies are slow. In retrospect, I should have pulled it off the floppy and dropped it. Oh, there it goes. Okay. A is not accessible. I know I pulled the drive. All right, so now if I pop in my USB device, I could leave that there as an internal drive. Oh, it's still not showing up. Oh. And bam, we're in. Feel like such a freaking hacker sparring with this old gear. And you know what that means now, bud? We can start installing proper drivers, like the VGA drivers and the Voodoo 2 drivers. Be right back. I booted into ye old setup here because I want to see if I can disable the onboard video because it keeps showing up as an unidentified device. And it's recognizing that we have added a USB controller. So yes, accept that. Built-in devices, video, okay? Is the USB conflicting with the video? Because I went to click video and it keeps talking about the USB. I might have to pull the USB in order to access the video and maybe disable it. Okay. I wonder if there's a jumper disable the video. I doubt it. Built-in devices, S-Video. Okay, that's it. S-Video, okay. No, it looks like I wasn't missing anything. All right, never mind then. Back to our regularly scheduled program. It's really great that this USB controller worked in this computer because it didn't seem to want to work in the other computer. So, yay! This old Deskpro's got USB 2.0. Small victory. Reminded once again what is computing in the 90s, it appears it is going to take... Oh, it's at 13 minutes now. Well, that's probably because I've been at this 10 minutes already, but it's saying it would take over 20 minutes, close to half an hour, just to install 3D Mark 2001. I want to give it a bit of a run there to make sure my 3D hardware is working. I didn't install the usual Voodoo 2 drivers, I installed these ones called Fast Voodoo. Apparently some nice aftermarket or fan-made or community-made drivers for the Voodoo 2 that are supposed to, from what I understand, be better optimized so as to get the most of it. Supposedly higher frame rates. Another 10 minutes. I'll live. Did I ever actually run 3D Mark 2001 before? Oof. It is not doing well. Seems the Voodoo 2 will only support the 800 by 600 resolution at 16-bit color depth. That's fine, I can live with that for old games. But damn, this computer is taking forever to load 3D Mark 2001. I don't know if it can handle it. I'm trying to remember, did I ever run 3D Mark 2001 on the Voodoo 2? Maybe I should try the other drivers. This is not gonna do. This is not gonna do at all. Benchmark aborted. Yes, yes indeed. Okay, so I went back to the normal Voodoo 2 drivers and I got this error right here. Looks like the Voodoo 2 is only good up to DirectX 7. So 3D Mark 2001's DirectX 8. It looks like those drivers successfully tricked it into thinking it was DirectX 8 hardware, but it's not. So I'm not sure how to test on this thing other than to actually run a game. Oh, it's illegal even. Well, fancy that. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to try something I found dug deep in the archives, quite oddball. Windows Magazine benchmark disc for fine-tuning your system. Copyright 1993. This might be for Windows 3.1. It might not even work on this. Yeah, that looks like a pretty old program, bud. It's installing right into Windows system. That's invasive. I guess they did stuff differently back then. I don't even know if a modern copy of Windows would allow a program to do that unless it was a driver. No. Full test, because I'm so curious what this is going to do. Because maybe at the very least I can use this to compare old systems to find out what's actually faster or slower. I can pop a Pentium back in here, the 233 with MMX, and see what happens. Sure. Please enter your initials. Well, I'm gonna say AMD K6, because that's what this is running on. Disk test, 24 megabytes a second. Okay, that's about right. File open. Oh, look at that, that's interesting. That is consistent with what we benchmarked this hard drive. 185 megahertz Pentium. Do I have the settings wrong? Oh, the jumpers seem right. Memory info. CPU overall, 202.53 MIPS, 27 megaflops. I don't recognize that stuff. Video, 15 megapixels a second. Okay, well that's interesting. A little benchmark program that'll run in these old systems. Now it's gonna be a question of popping a Pentium in there and seeing what that does. We can set it at 200 and compare our IPCs. Oh, it's comparing 386s, 486s. So, compared to a 486, I'm okay, well. Oh, Word and Excel. How much time it would take to process those. This is some interesting information. Thank you for your digging, your guide in Wintune. Fast, compared to a DX250. It would be considerably faster than that. It's 4 times the clock speed at the very least. That's cute. That's gonna come in handy. So now that we have this system set up and mostly running correctly, and we know we have the BIOS updated, let's see how much RAM it'll take. Seeing here I have a 256 and a 512 gig kit. Meg kits. Let's try the 256 first. Remember to ventilate your power supply. I think realistically, whatever this system's capable of running, 128's probably plenty, so this might be a bit redundant, and mostly for the lulz. It's booting into Windows, but it didn't give me any configuration change warning. I feel like it's behaving slightly strangely. It's still only saying 128 megs of RAM. I've shifted one of the sticks over a socket to see if it's a socket issue. It's booting right into Windows again. Yeah, still only 128 megs. Okay, well, let's put one of these 256 meg sticks in there and see what that does. I can see some sort of glitch ignoring one of the RAM slots. So if we, bring attention to the more RAM by putting that in one single RAM slot, let's see what happens. Memory reconfiguration required, please restart. I didn't have the post screen come up telling me what the new RAM count is. Still, even with 512 megs in 2 sticks, and even though one individual stick is 256, we're still only getting 128 megs of RAM. So I guess this system maxes out at 128, and we'll stick with this compact labeled 128 gig stick. Gig. That's okay though. If you had 128 megs of RAM in a Pentium era system, you were doing well. You were doing real well. So we'll put that back in there and we'll call it maxed. And then let's get to gaming. I've been sparring with it for a little while now, trying to get it running certain things smoothly. As you see, it's a little bit ragged. I tried playing Unreal, but unfortunately it seems to be a Pentium 2 era game, and it did not like the Pentium whatsoever. It was all rather choppy. I think I'm gonna make a separate video about that one. Final Fantasy runs great until it crashed. Separate video about that one too. Half-Life won't run at all. I think it just doesn't like this system. Carmageddon runs a bit rough. It does run. But there is one game that I found that people might find interesting and relevant to this day because of the overwhelming popularity, resurgence of this franchise. And that's Jedi Knight Dark Forces too. Oh. Oh, I think I got it. Get that guy. Cantina music. Nice. This game is definitely Pentium era and actually runs really well on the Voodoo too.
Yeah, you always cause trouble.
Oh yeah? I don't cause the trouble. I think it was those guys. I think I'm on some space station. Oh! If you use always run, he goes too fast. Nope. Oh, where'd you come from? Jumped down from the ceiling. I might have diminishing health already. What are those? Is that health or shield? I don't know. I don't know my way around this game. I do not recall finishing it.
Hey.
This guy looks more like E.T. than, I don't know. At least ammo's plentiful. Who are you calling smutty? Okay, that's a long shot. They're about as likely to hit me as I am to hit them. This guy's gonna work his way over here, though. Oh! Apparently I'm a pretty good shot. He's trying to ambush me. One great thing about this game is it pretty much uses your stock WSAD type controls. I had to do very little modifications to dial it in. I almost shot that guy. Hey! It even has duck and jump. Hey! Oh. Eat what? Is that space out there? Is he drinking? He was behind me. Where'd he come from? That's sneaky. Oh, look at this droid. What? And this is running at 800 by 600, by the way, so that's pretty good. Oh, I think I found a secret. Hi, I did find a secret. Did I get another gun? Oh. Blaster. Oh my. Okay.
What's happening?
A whole bunch of people are being rude. That's what's happening. Hey! What's that? Oh. It's taken a lot to get me there. It's chopping a bit. Oh. Hey. Where are we going here now? I feel like if I go down there, I'm gonna have fall damage. I don't know if this game has fall damage. I don't want to find out. You thought you had me. What's that noise? Did I just miss a TIE fighter? Oh. Interesting level design. It almost feels random. I wonder what these civilians think. Look at her little waddle.
What's happening?
Hey.
Hey. No. That closed. Okay, well, how do I get out there now?
I know nothing.
Hey.
Oh! Oh! Well, I think that's it. Quick save is a thing in this game, so remember to press that button if you happen to be playing it. Well, this certainly has been a trip down memory lane. Mostly in the reasons why I do not miss this era of computing. Very rough around the edges. There's a sparring behind the scenes that I had to do, you know, trying to figure out which old driver worked the best. Now, mind you, that could be because of the whole legacy aspect of things. If it was that era, maybe these questions would be answered more clearly. But 20 years after the fact, well, you're kinda, you know, just gargling the Googler, trying to figure out what's up and what's down. Meanwhile, this cute little heatsink right here, it's, you know, got some warmth to the touch, but it's not hot. Not at all, which means it's probably more than enough cooling for the Pentium, and that's good because it's much quieter and more palatable, so I'm gonna keep that in there. Whether or not I'm gonna put the K6 back in, I'm not sure. I like the Red Team bragging rights of saying that this is a K6, but this system needs all the help it can get. However, I'm unlikely to actually use this system very often, so it's probably not going to make a whole heck of a lot of difference, is it? It's plenty of horsepower to sit on the shelf and wait till the next time, maybe in another 10 years, we fire it up again and see if it still works. In the meantime, I'm going to leave off with one more game. It's not a 3D game, but somewhat interesting nonetheless, because it is a massive franchise with as many sequels as Fast and the Furious. That is Need for Speed, the original, the first Need for Speed. How many opening videos does this game have? Road and Track. Was this game born of a magazine? I like the Supra. And of course I'm gonna race against the Supra because that'll be fair. This game is a bit absurd. Change camera. Oh, I'm in the wrong gear. I lost already. Wow. I should have brushed up on the controls first. Ooh, listen to those nice engine noises. Oh boy, there's other cars on the road. What is that beeping? Oh, it's a police officer. It was one of those games. And it almost feels no matter how hard I try, I cannot get in front of the other guy. Oh, oh, oh. There you go. I didn't intend that. That was just, thank you. Okay, traffic is, oh, is that karma? It's one thing to speed past a cop, it's another to crash into him while speeding. That's great. Oh, great. Oh, I blocked him out. Wait, was that just checkpoint 1? I thought that was the finish line. Apparently I was wrong. I failed now. For good this time. No way I'm catching up to that guy now. Oh, come on. Oh. There's like an invisible barrier at the edge of the road. Oh, okay. Oh. I've been pulled over. What's the point of even continuing the race? The finish line was right there.